Quiet now, everybody. Quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show. Now, some of you people have been with me before. You know it's going to be a tough grind. You're going to dance until your feet fall off. You're not able to stand up any longer. But we're going to have a show.
Welcome to the Pink Door Podcast.
So glad to be here for this.
And welcome to you joining us for today's deep dive. Imagine this scenario for just a second. You know, you decide to list your house on a Thursday.
Right.
You pack up the kids. You go away for the weekend to just, get out of the way of the showings.
The usual drill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The usual drill. And you come back on Monday evening and you find a stack of offers sitting right on your kitchen island.
Yeah.
With buyers practically begging to give you $250,000 over your asking price.
I mean, it sounds like a real estate fantasy, right? Or maybe something from the absolute peak of a historic bubble.
Yeah, it sounds completely made up.
But what we're going to look at today proves that, well, in certain pockets, that is the absolute reality right now.
Exactly. So today, our mission is to unpack the May 2026 real estate market update for Norwell, Massachusetts.
Specifically, zip code 02061.
Right, 02061. And just so you know, we aren't pulling these wild scenarios out of thin air. We are basing this deep dive on hard, verified data.
The real numbers.
Yeah, we are pulling from market trends reports from MLS, PIN, and RPR. And for those of you outside the industry, those are the heavy-duty data pipelines that real estate professionals use.
Right. It's not just the public estimates you see on those consumer websites.
Exactly. We're also looking at public records and some incredibly detailed property surveys provided by Keller Williams Signature Properties.
Which is crucial, honestly, because looking at May 2026 in Norwell through the lens of that specific data, it reveals a truly fascinating microeconomy.
Oh, it's wild.
You have homes flying off the market at a dizzying pace, but simultaneously, and this is the weird part, a really surprising, almost paradoxical gap has opened up.
A gap between what sellers want and what buyers are actually doing.
Exactly, between what some sellers are asking for and what buyers are actually buying.
I was looking over the sources before we started recording today, and I have to be honest, the speed at which these houses are disappearing just makes no logical sense to me.
It's fast.
Are people really buying these homes over a single weekend? Like, what is actually happening on the ground here?
They absolutely are. I mean, if we look at the sheer velocity of this market, the numbers are frankly staggering.
Yeah.
The most revealing statistic from the RPR report is the median days on market. It is sitting at exactly 5 days.
5 days.
5 days. That is a 16.67% drop from just the previous month.
I mean, it takes me 5 days to decide what TV series to binge watch next.
Right.
To make the biggest financial decision of your life in that window is terrifying.
It is an incredibly high-pressure environment for a buyer. When you hear 5 days on market, you really have to translate that into real-world human time.
Okay, walk me through that.
That essentially means a home is being listed on a Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
The broker hosts open houses or maybe some private showings on Saturday and Sunday.
So the whole weekend is just a madhouse.
Total madhouse. The buyers tour the home, they go back to their cars, they panic, they frantically call their mortgage brokers, and by Monday afternoon, offers are due.
Wow.
Yeah, and by Monday evening, the house is under agreement, the ink is dry, it's done.
It's essentially a flash sale for a house.
Exactly.
But here is what I don't get. If it's a flash sale, usually things are discounted.
No.
But looking at these Keller Williams surveys, the premium people are paying to win that weekend flash sale is just wild.
Oh, it's steep.
The data shows the average sold-to-list price ratio hit 105.5%.
Yeah.
And some of the survey data confirms an average of up to 106%.
Yeah.
How are buyers mechanically making that happen?
Well, think about buying tickets to a sold-out concert online.
Oh, okay.
The list price is essentially an illusion. It's just the starting bid.
Right, before the scalper premiums kick in.
Exactly. If you actually want to get through the door, you have to pay the premium. It comes down to the psychology of competition. With a 5-day median time on market, buyers are walking into these Saturday open houses knowing they are bumping shoulders with dozens of other highly motivated, highly capitalized people.
So they can't just be polite.
No, they aren't just submitting a polite offer. They are coming in with extreme aggression to guarantee they win.
So they're just, what, throwing an extra 50 or 100 grand on top of the asking price?
It's more than just the top line number, actually. They are stripping away all their protections.
What do you...
They are waiving contingencies.
Okay, let's unpack that for a second. When you say waiving contingencies, you mean they are giving up their escape hatches, right?
Precisely. I mean, a standard real estate contract has contingencies, conditions that must be met for the sale to go through.
Right.
And the most common one is a home inspection.
Sure.
Buyers right now are walking through a house for 20 minutes on a Saturday.
Just 20 minutes.
Yeah. And legally agreeing to buy it without ever having a professional look at the foundation or the roof or the plumbing.
That feels like playing Russian roulette with your savings account.
It is incredibly risky. But they are taking it a step further. They are also waiving appraisal gaps.
Right. And an appraisal gap, let me make sure I have this straight.
Sure.
If a seller lists a house for $1 million and a buyer gets caught in a bidding war and offers $1.2 million,
Right.
the buyer's bank is going to send out an appraiser to make sure the house is actually worth that much before they hand over a mortgage.
Correct, because the bank wants to protect its investment.
Right.
If the bank's appraiser comes back and says, sorry, based on the data, this house is only worth $1 million, the bank is only going to lend based on that $1 million valuation.
So there is a $200,000 gap between what the bank will loan and what the buyer promised to pay.
Exactly.
In a normal market, the buyer could use that as a contingency to back out or force the seller to lower the price. Right?
Well, normally, yes. But in Norwell, in May of 2026, buyers are waiving that protection entirely upfront. They are literally writing into the contract, if the bank says it's only worth $1 million, I promise to bring that $200,000 difference in cold, hard cash to the closing table out of my own pocket.
That is insane.
That is how you end up with a market that averages 106% over asking. This is what firmly categorizes Norwell right now as a severe, almost punishing seller's market.
Okay, so this naturally leads me to a massive point of confusion I had while reading the reports.
Okay, let's hear it.
If literally everything is selling in 5 days,
Yeah.
and people are throwing tens of thousands of dollars in cash over the asking price just to secure a house by Monday, then there must be absolutely zero inventory.
You would think so.
The shelves in Norwell must be completely bare.
Based on pure logic, yes. But if we look closely at the data, this is where things get incredibly paradoxical.
Okay.
The shelves are not bare. In fact, the months of inventory metric actually went up significantly.
Rewind.
It is currently sitting at 3 months of supply.
Hold on. 3 months. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it's true. 3 months of inventory. And that is a 76.47% increase month over month.
Oh, wow.
And a massive 87.5% increase year over year.
Okay, you have to explain this to me because my brain is breaking.
I know, it's counterintuitive.
How can the median time to sell a house be 5 days, but we somehow have a 3-month supply of houses sitting around?
It's a great question, and it comes down to what we can call the inventory illusion.
Inventory illusion.
Yeah. To understand it, think of the real estate market right now like a highway traffic jam.
Okay, I like a good analogy. I'm listening.
Imagine you're looking down at a 2-lane highway from a helicopter. The left lane is moving at 100 miles an hour. Cars are just flying by.
Right.
But the right lane is completely backed up bumper to bumper, moving at a crawl.
Okay.
If you take a mathematical average of the speed of all the cars on that highway, it might look like everyone is driving 40 miles an hour.
But in reality, nobody is driving 40.
Exactly. Half are doing 100 and half are doing 10.
Ah. So we are looking at 2 totally different lanes of real estate being averaged together.
Precisely. You have to look at the pricing tiers to see the lanes.
Okay, let's look at the numbers.
So the median list price for the active listings, meaning the 10 homes currently sitting on the market unsold in May, is $1.45 million.
Okay, over 1.5 million.
But the median sold price for the homes that actually closed and successfully sold in May is much lower, at $1.1 million. And the average was about $1.2 million.
So the people who want to sell are pricing their homes way higher than the people who are actually buying.
Yes. The market is absolutely absorbing the homes in that $800,000 to $1.3 million range instantly.
That's the fast lane.
That's a fast lane. Those are the 5-day flash sales. But the properties priced at $1.5 million and above,
They're stuck in traffic.
they are the right lane. They are sitting slightly longer. They aren't flying off the shelves by Monday. So those higher priced homes accumulate on the market, pulling the active median list price way up and mathematically inflating that months of inventory metric to look like we have 3 months of supply.
That traffic jam analogy completely clarifies it. Okay, so 106% over asking sounds crazy on paper, but I need to understand what that actually buys you in the real world.
Let's look at.
Like, who is paying this and for what? Let's transition from the macro data, the medians and the averages, down to the micro level.
Good idea.
We have the data on the 9 specific properties that sold in May 2026. Let's talk about the ultimate bidding war winner of the month, 118 Pleasant Street.
Oh, that is a standout property in the data for sure. It perfectly illustrates that fast lane.
So it was listed at $879,000.
Right.
It sold for $1.1 million in just 15 days.
Incredible.
That is roughly 125% of the asking price. A nearly $250,000 jump over what the sellers were asking. What on earth happened there?
When you dig into the specific property details provided in the surveys, the why becomes very clear.
Yeah.
This isn't just a standard cookie-cutter house. It's a 3-bedroom contemporary home sitting on over 3 acres of land.
3 acres is a lot of space.
It is. Plus, it features a spectacular south-facing sunroom and a fully fenced-in, in-ground gunite pool.
And a gunite pool, for those who don't know, isn't just a vinyl liner you drop in a hole.
Oh, no.
It's a custom-poured concrete pool that takes months and months of heavy construction and permitting to build. Right.
Exactly. It's a massive premium feature.
Yeah.
And crucially, this property is located just minutes from Hanover Crossing.
Oh, right, with all the new shops.
Right. They recently added all that upscale shopping, dining, and entertainment, plus it has immediate access to Route 3 for commuting.
So it's the perfect location.
Yeah. The buyers at 118 Pleasant Street weren't just buying wood and shingles. They were wildly overpaying to instantly secure a highly specific lifestyle.
They wanted it done.
They wanted an immediate private backyard oasis without the headache of contractors.
They were buying the summer of 2026, basically.
That's a great way to put it.
They saw the custom pool, they saw the acreage, and they said, take my money, I want to be swimming by July.
Yep.
But I want to contrast that with another property in the data that completely baffled me.
Which one?
Let's look at 74 Central Street. Now, this one was listed for $795,000, but it actually sold under asking at $760,000.
And it took 20 days in the market.
Right. A very different story from Pleasant Street.
Definitely.
So the data notes it's a 3-bedroom ranch, and it needed a new septic system.
Which is a big deal.
It is. However, and this is the part that gets me, the sellers were footing the bill to install a brand new 4-bedroom septic system before closing.
Right.
This system would actually allow the new buyers to legally expand the house and add a 4th bedroom in the future. Now, hold on. I have to push back here.
Go ahead.
I would much rather buy a house with a brand new septic system being paid for by the seller.
It makes sense financially.
Right. That is a massive tens of thousands of dollars expense that I wouldn't have to worry about for 30 years. Plus, it gives me the legal right to add value to the house later.
True.
Why are buyers punishing a seller for fixing the plumbing and giving them an upgrade? Shouldn't that be a massive selling point that drives up the price?
It's a great logical argument. I mean, in a vacuum, you are completely right. But it ignores the psychology of the buyer operating in a high-stress, 5-day market.
Okay, so what's going on in their heads?
This raises a really important question about what buyers actually value right now versus what makes strict financial sense.
Okay, so what do they value? Because apparently it isn't free infrastructure.
They value the illusion of effortlessness.
Effortlessness.
Yes. The buyers who are willing to waive their contingencies and pay 105 or 125% over asking are looking exclusively for turnkey properties.
They want it perfect on day one.
They want to drop their bags, post a picture on Instagram, and start living. Think about another property in the data, 145 Brigantine Circle.
Okay, let me look that one up.
It sold for $1.5 million.
Wow. What made that one move so fast?
The listing specifically highlights custom white millwork, meaning gorgeous, finished wainscoting and crown molding,
Yeah.
silestone counters, and brand new Wolf and Sub-Zero appliances. That is the definition of turnkey. It requires zero imagination and zero effort from the buyer.
Ah, so they don't want to think about plumbing or permits or dirt.
Exactly. Even if a seller is fixing a major utility like a septic system and footing the entire bill, the mere mention of it conjures a construction zone vibe.
Just the word septic scares them off.
It does. The mental hurdle of taking on a property that is framed even slightly as a project Having your front yard torn up by backhoes for a month right after you move in.
That does sound stressful.
It completely scares off the immediate bidding war crowd. They don't want to oversee a septic installation or hire an architect to plan a future expansion.
They want the goodnight pool that's already filled with water.
Exactly. And because that immediate frenzy wasn't there for 74 Central Street, the seller had to accept a lower offer to get it done.
That is fascinating. The luxury of not having to make a decision or deal with dust is what they are actually paying the premium for.
100%.
And speaking of luxury, we also have to look at the very top of the market in May. The luxury anchor of the month was 21 Henry's Lane.
Yes, the highest sale in the data.
Right. It listed for exactly $2.5 million, and it sold for exactly $2.5 million.
Yeah.
Took 18 days.
Yep.
No scalper premium there, no 106% over asking. Why didn't someone offer $2.8 million just to lock it down?
Because the air gets a lot thinner at $2.5 million.
Makes sense.
When you hit that ultra luxury tier, and this property is a monster, by the way.
Right.
Over 5,600 square feet, 4 bedrooms, true resort style grounds with a custom pool, spa, waterfall, the works.
Wow.
Yeah. But at that price point, the buyer pool shrinks dramatically.
So it's a different demographic entirely.
Completely different. The frantic weekend bidding wars we see in the $1 million range are often driven by people stretching their budgets, utilizing dual incomes, and panicking over interest rates.
The people who need to get into the school system before September.
Exactly. But at $2.5 million, buyers are often highly analytical. They might be dealing in cash or large portfolio loans.
They aren't panicking.
No, the competition is just less dense. 18 days to go under agreement is a completely healthy, normal timeline for a $2.5 million home.
Right.
It commanded exactly what the data said it was worth and no more, because the buyer didn't have to fight 5 other people in the driveway to get the keys.
That makes total sense. We're really looking at 2 different worlds.
We are.
So we've looked at the 5-day frenzy, the traffic jam of the inventory illusion, and the incredible psychological difference between a turnkey home and a project.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. Let's bring this all home and connect it to you, the listener. What does this actually mean for you? If you are navigating the Norwell market right now, let's start with the buyers. What is the takeaway?
Well, if you are a buyer, particularly if you are looking in that $800,000 to $1.3 million sweet spot, that fast lane we talked about,
Right.
you absolutely cannot hesitate. You need to have your financing completely locked down, fully underwritten if possible, before you even look at a house.
You have to be ready to pull the trigger.
Instantly. And you must understand going in that the list price on the screen is just a suggestion.
A starting bid?
Exactly. If you find a turnkey property with great finishes, you have to be prepared to offer aggressively, waive what you are comfortable waiving, and move quickly.
It's a brutal reality, but a necessary one to hear. And what about for the sellers? Because listening to this, it sounds like an absolute gold rush.
It does sound like that.
You just put a sign in the yard and wait for the cash to fall from the sky.
Yeah.
But there has to be a warning label here.
There is a massive warning label for sellers, and we saw it in the data. Don't get greedy.
Right.
Just because the median sold price is up 11.68% this month does not mean you can throw any arbitrary number at the wall and expect a bidding war.
Because we saw those active listings in the right lane of our traffic jam.
Exactly.
They are sitting at a median of $1.45 million, and they are just sitting there unsold.
They are proof that buyers do have a ceiling. If your home doesn't have the high-end turnkey finishes like the custom millwork at Brigantine Circle or the stone patios and acreage at Pleasant Street,
Then you can't push it.
you cannot justify a top-tier price. Buyers will happily pay a premium, but only if the product is flawless.
Okay.
If you price a project home like a turnkey home, you will become part of that accumulating inventory. The market is hot, but it is not foolish.
Which leaves us with a really provocative thought to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive.
What?
Well, you mentioned earlier that the months of inventory suddenly spiked by 87% year over year, up to 3 full months of supply.
Right.
While the lower end of the market is still flying blindly fast, that growing pile of 1.5 million plus inventory is a real mathematical metric.
It is.
So are we seeing the very first subtle cracks in the foundation of this frantic seller's market?
That is the question.
Like, how long can that 106% sold to list ratio actually hold up before that growing inventory gives buyers some breathing room, shifts the leverage, and forces sellers to finally start negotiating again.
It is the million-dollar question, literally. And it's exactly why we track this data month over month.
It's a cliffhanger for sure, and definitely something we will keep an eye on when the next batch of data rolls in. If you have any questions about this episode, or if you are thinking about buying or selling a house anywhere on Boston's South Shore from Southie to Sagamore, give Jim Aldred a call. He would love to speak with you. Jim believes that people in transition often feel anxious about buying or selling a home, and he provides them with the guidance and security to help your family move on smoothly. Thanks for listening, and catch you on the next episode of the Pink Door Podcast.